Okay, so this is an intro to Microsoft Teams. Okay. So I thought I'd start with an icebreaker. Absolutely nothing to do with Microsoft Teams whatsoever. So I don't know whether any of you have realised you could do this. I only saw this on the internet the other day and I thought it was quite a nice little tip. So you know when you put a meeting in your diary for an hour, it puts it in your diary for an hour, as you might expect. Sort of driven by the pandemic, what I didn't realise is that within Outlook, you can set a setting so that when you put an hour's meeting in your diary, it actually puts it in for 50 minutes and gives you 10 minutes break between meetings, which I thought was quite a nice little tip to remind yourself to, take a bit of time back for yourselves. So if you want to do that now, you can do. So if you go into Outlook and go to File menu at the top, File Options at the bottom. Options is at the bottom when you choose it. File Options, and then choose the calendar on the left-hand side. You can then tick this box here. Oops, there we go. Which says shorten appointments and messages. Shorten appointments and meetings. End early. And you can choose the defaults there, but I've said less than 1 hour, 5 minutes, i.e. for a half-hour meeting, you get 5 minutes back. And for anything longer than an hour or longer, you get 10 minutes back. So if you tick that option, whenever you then schedule a meeting in future, it takes a little bit of time just to sort of catch up. But once you do any meetings in future, by default, it'll schedule it for those with that reduced time. You can still override it. So if you've got, a particular meeting with a client, you can still put it in for an hour, but the default will be 50 minutes. So that's quite a nice little tip. And if any of you haven't added your holidays into your calendar within Outlook, I know I've sent a note about this before. Again, it's quite nice to be able to do this. So while you're on the same screen there, you can click Add Holidays and you can click UK holidays, and then it automatically puts things like Christmas and Easter and all the others, all the other sort of bank holidays in your calendar for you without you having to add them. So there we go. Nothing to do with Teams, just a little icebreaker tip to start with. Any questions on that?
No, that's good.
No.
Okay, good. So objective behind this session is 3 really. Get you comfortable with using MS Teams in your daily work. I know we all use Teams, so this for us, I suppose, is more of a standardization rather than getting you comfortable. Unlock the potential of MS Teams, are you using it to its full potential? And to set up and use Teams how you want to use it, so you don't feel it's the team's managing you, but you're managing the teams. So they're really the 3 objectives for the session. Agenda, what are we going to be covering during these 2 hours? Going to really rattle through it. Meetings, calls, messaging, presenting, teams and channels, file management, settings, and add in apps. So that's the sort of areas that I'm going to cover. So I'm just going to run a quick poll. So you should see a poll come up, either in your chat or as a card that comes up in front of your screen. So all I want to know is, are you confident in those areas that come up in the poll? Just tick or don't tick them and then press submit. Okay, Thank you very much. We're nearly there. Just got 1 or 2 scores still coming in. So you should see the results from this poll in the chat on the right-hand side. If you click on the chat, if you haven't got it open already, you should be able to see the results. Can you all see that? Let me just check that first.
Yeah.
I can't see it. Where am I looking? So I've pressed done and then it disappeared.
Right, so if you open your chat.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Bev, yeah?
Yes.
You open your chat? Yeah? Do you see it there at the bottom of the chat?
Yes, I can now, yeah.
Brilliant, good stuff, okay. So what we're saying here, so we think there's more confidence, although still quite low actually within this group on setting up teams, invites and sharing. Calling and messaging, they're the 2 really sort of more confident areas, but still quite a way to go there. But quite a significant sort of knowledge gap on setting up of teams and channels, using channels to their full potential, and certainly very little confidence in using advanced functions within meetings, and yeah, so that's basically it. So that'll help focus the training today, although it does look like we should please stop me if you need me to slow down, because you know me, it's all I know what's in my head. Please stop me as I go, so I'm sure you will. Good, thank you for that. Let's start with basics. So I'm going to start in the meeting window that we're in. Does everyone have that open? So you've seen the videos of people and you're in that window. Again, if anybody needs any help getting to that window, we're even going to go through that.
Are we supposed to be opening another window separately?
No. So you're in the meeting window. You can see me, you can see everybody else, and you can see the PowerPoint slides.
Yeah.
You're in the meeting window. Yeah. We'll come to Windows in a minute within Teams, which do confuse some people. Okay, so we're going to start with some real basics. So top left on that window is the elapsed time in the current meeting. So what's the elapsed time, Richard, for the current meeting? Yeah, you're on mute, inevitably, but I'm sure you got it right. If you want to see who's in the meeting, you click on the symbol there that shows the two people, a big person and a little person, and it tells you who's currently in this meeting. So you can always check that to see who's here. Okay, that's good. Oops, excuse me. The next one, which we've just talked about, is meeting chat. So meeting chat you use for sharing messages within Teams, and things like polls and so on will come up in the meeting chat automatically. You've got all sorts of chat controls at the bottom there. You can type a basic message. The bottom left one, I know I've mentioned this before, but I really like it, is if you click on the A with the pencil there at the bottom, it gives you more formatting options for your message. You can use bold, underline, you can press the enter key, so on and so forth. Looks like Debbie's typing something at the moment.
Just playing.
Just playing, that's fine. You carry on playing during the meeting, that's fine. You can add files there. So if you want to quickly attach a file and say, everybody, can you look at this? You can attach a file there. We can obviously share smileys there inevitably, which is what I'm going to share now, just for the heck of it. GIFs, stickers, and we can also start bringing things in from other apps. I'll cover other apps afterwards. I'm not going to go into that in detail now. So lots we can do within the chat. You're all probably using chat quite a lot within meetings. It's always good to have it open though, I find. you know, right from when you start a meeting. We've got these new hand signals that Microsoft have added in, so that allows you to signal from within the meeting. So if anybody wants to give me some applause now, that'd be really appreciated, because I'm feeling quite lonely here at my desk. So everybody give me some applause, please. Yeah, yay, lots of applause. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel so much better. I'm not alone. Video, turning video on and off. And the usual, you're on mute, the number one saying of 2020, being able to turn the speech on and off. And then something I think I only learnt the other day, or I'd forgotten that I'd learnt it. We all probably just click leave when we leave a meeting. But if you're a control freak and you want everybody to leave the meeting at the same time, if you click on the down arrow next to the leave button, you can end the meeting, and that throws everybody out. And of course, there's real benefits to that if you don't want people to be sort of hearing confidential conversations and so on at the end of the meeting. So if you just want to close the meeting
down
down.
arrow on this
I
side.
don't have that either.
That's because it's my meeting.
I was going to say, I presume it's only the organiser.
You lot can't end this meeting because you're not in control. I'm in control, so I can end it. So if you facilitate a meeting, you've got the control to stop it
Okay.
at the end. That's a good point, actually, which I'll add to the slides for future. So that's only for the person running the meeting. Yeah, good.
And can you kick everyone else out but not yourself?
Why would you want to do that, Angela?
I'll tell you why. When we did the authentic leader, right? Me and Bev and Jen wanted to carry on talking, but there was still loads of people still in there. We're like, go away so we can talk.
So you can't do it with that button. So if you click on the participants, and then go to each, you'd have to do it one by one. But if you wanted a participant to leave, if you click on the three dots next to a participant at the bottom there, you've got remove from meeting.
Right, okay.
So you can do it manually one by one.
Weaver manoeuvre.
I'm sorry, Jenny.
Isn't it the Jackie Weaver manoeuvre?
Oh,
Yeah.
kick them out.
Yeah, the Jackie Weaver manoeuvre. Good old Jackie Weaver. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Right. So that's your basic meeting functions. We've then got these three dots in the middle of your bar there, which are your options, which all bring up all sorts of different stuff that you can do within the meeting. So I'm going to cover that next. So you can click on that if you want, and then it will also be on the slide. So if you wanted to switch between, like me, I've got headphones on at the moment, and say your PC, sound card and microphone, that's all in your device settings. So to switch between different speech and webcams and so on and so forth, all in your device settings. So you can do that from within the meeting. Within the meeting, you can decide about meeting access and chat options, but I'm going to look at that later. I'm going to leave that for later because I would suggest you shouldn't really be doing that in a meeting. You should have sorted that all out before you have your meeting. So that's things like making people wait in the lobby or not. You know, for our internal meetings, you don't really want people waiting in the lobby, but when you've got clients coming in, you often do. Meeting notes, I think, that's a broad generalization. I don't think many people use this, and I don't use it. I don't find it that useful. Having meeting notes in the meeting, you can always go back and look at them afterwards. But we tend to be like making other notes from meetings and PDCAs and so on. So I don't know whether anybody's got any other input on that, but you can certainly.
I made some meeting notes the other day, but I don't know where they are.
Should be in the meeting. So if you go to the meeting, you can go to the chat for that meeting, and you'll be able to access your meeting notes.
Okay.
Also, sorry, you don't even need to go in the meeting. Is it your meeting?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. I'm not
So
sure if
if
it
you
is
go
actually.
if you go into the Teams app, which isn't this window, the Teams app, go to that meeting and click edit rather than join. We'll come to this in a minute.
Okay.
Click edit rather than join. One of the tabs that comes up is meeting notes.
Okay, thanks.
So you should be able to access, well, you will be able to access that.
What if it's not my meeting?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure how the ownership works there. I suspect that if you're within the organisation, you can access the meeting notes. But if you're outside the organisation, you probably can't.
Okay.
So if we all have an internal meeting, they're shared, aren't they? Shared meeting notes.
Yeah.
If somebody's struggling to join a meeting, and you're thinking, oh, I've got to go and find it in Outlook and copy and paste the link and all that sort of malarkey, you don't actually need to. So you can quickly go to meeting info, and that gives you the full meeting info that comes up for the meeting. And there's a little button there called copy join info. So you can then paste that, say, into an email and send it to somebody if there's somebody struggling to join a meeting. So that's a nice quick way within the meeting to get people to join if they're struggling.
Yeah, I like that.
Gallery we've all probably played with. I really like the large gallery because it allows all of the videos to be on the screen at the same time. I actually hate the together mode when everybody's looking at you from the lecture theatre, but we're all different. But really remembering when there's lots of people on a call like we do with instructors and what have you on a Friday afternoon, and using that large gallery mode is really important to be able to see everybody. Okay, the next two options on that options screen are focus and full screen. So much as I love looking at Richard anytime, to be perfectly honest, if I click on, or you click on the focus button, it removes all of the videos apart from the person that's speaking bottom right, and just allows you to concentrate on looking at the presentation or whatever's being shared. So that's what the focus button does for you. And just to turn it off, you just go back into it again and select it again, and that brings everybody's videos back. The one that's underneath it, which is full screen, is what basically makes the bit of the bottom screen disappear, i.e. where you can select different apps, Word and Excel and all the rest of it. So again, that just gives you a bit more focus in terms of what you're looking at any particular time. So that's what full screen does. And there's another one that's come up since I did my notes on it, which is gallery at top. So if you prefer not to have the videos on the right hand side, but you want them spread across the top of the screen, you can also select that one there.
I haven't got that one yet.
Okay.
The large gallery option, I can't click on that.
I
Is there
can't
a reason?
either.
I think it's simply because not enough people have got the videos on.
Oh, yeah, because I can only
So
see
it's greyed out though. It doesn't look as though it's even available.
Well, let's
Should we
all put our
put it-
videos on and test it, shall we?
Yes,
Everyone put your
yes.
videos on, please. And let's see whether that's the way it works.
No, I still haven't got that.
Neither have I.
No.
And yet
I
I always get that in meetings.
Oh, I have now.
It's up
I've
now.
got it now. Someone's put a video on.
Yeah, I have now.
Ah,
You've got it,
Oh,
haven't
it's
you?
only if you've got your videos on. Oh,
I suppose there's no point otherwise, because you're just going to
Yeah.
see initials.
just one.
Exactly.
my
Exactly.
videos have completely vanished altogether. So I don't know what's happened there.
Nice to be together. Okay,
Yeah,
next
I've
one,
turned that off.
Darren. Anybody used Call Me?
Oh, that is weird.
Sorry.
It is
No.
weird, but it's quite handy. So if you're really struggling with hearing somebody on a call, like Jenny was having last Friday. She was having lots of problems there. You can get Teams to call you on your mobile, and you can join via your mobile while still watching the screen. You can try it now if you want.
Wow.
So if you click call me, you put your mobile number in there, and it'll call you. If people are trying that, you'll start hearing messages in the meeting saying or the people are joining the meeting. So that
Sorry. Oh, I'm gonna turn it off. Then it turns on the
There we go.
Sorry.
yes, put your phones down now, please. Yes, we'll get all of the.
Okay, come on.
But quite handy if you're really struggling to hear something. Get it to call you on your mobile. Doesn't cost anything. It's all part of the package. Changing your background. We all okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know anybody if you're not. But I think you're all pretty okay with that. So let's not do it. Okay, recording the meeting. Again, that's one of those, if it's your meeting, you can start recording it, or if you're within the organisation, you can start recording it. You can't start recording somebody in a different organisation. And it obviously comes up with the message when you do that, the GDPR message around you being recorded. Another one that I've sort of learned about quite recently is often when we're struggling with buffering and so on, if we've got poor internet wherever we are, we turn our own video off. Well, a much bigger effect, or as big at least, is to turn off incoming video, because that means you're not having to have all the sort of bandwidth of downloading everybody's videos. So if you want to try that, you can do. You can turn off incoming video and you can see what happens. It just changes everybody from a video to a picture, and again saves your internet wherever you are. And again, it's just one of those that you can turn it back on again.
Where's that?
And then
At the bottom.
right at the bottom. Right at the bottom. So there's a couple of tips. If you're struggling with the internet, it's call me and turn off incoming video.
Oh, I don't have that because it's not my meeting, right?
No, I've got it, and it's not
Oh,
mine.
You should have it, Debbie.
I haven't. I've got start transcription, then I've got dial pad, and that's all I've got.
Really?
Oh, poor Debbie.
Uh,
Really
I've
don't
got
know
it now.
what.
I've made my screen bigger, and it's on there now.
Oh,
I needed this training.
you're very honest. Good. These two options have just appeared quite recently, which I know we've mentioned in other meetings, which is if you want to, you can turn on subtitles. So it will in real time give you subtitles from a meeting. So could be handy if you're in a busy area or something, and you want to hear what people are saying and you can't hear very well on the headphones, for example. And so you're welcome again to do that. That only turns it on for you. So once you've turned it on, it then real-time transcripts subtitles for what you're saying. It's quite good. It's not perfect.
Where's that? Sorry, Andy.
So I'm hoping you've got it because it has been rolled out over the last. Turn on live captions.
I've got it.
Is that on the three
stop
dots?
recording. If there's anybody that's not got it, you will be getting it with, and it's you can try and do your Teams update if you want to get it. It's been rolled out over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I've not got it.
No.
And if you ain't got that, you probably won't have the one that says start transcription either.
No.
I think that again is only something that I would have anyway as the meeting owner.
No, I've got it.
It's on there, but it's greyed out.
Right, okay, yeah. So I can start the transcription for this meeting. So this is a bit scary. It literally creates a transcript, a written record of the whole meeting, word by word, if you wanted it. Could be quite handy for things like assessments. Obviously, you'd have to get the people's permission when you do it. So somebody else say something.
I've got start transcription, and it's not greyed out.
Yeah, and obviously you've tried it, haven't you, Debbie? Or you've been trying to make it work, I believe.
Where do you actually see this transcription? Does it come up in the chat?
I think so.
Oh, it's not coming up in mine.
Oh, I can't
No,
see where it comes up either.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, mine's come. Well, I've got all like everything we say coming up along the bottom of my
Okay,
screen.
so that's interesting. Yeah, the one on the bottom is subtitles. Yeah. So transcription, I don't think comes up in real time for all of the attendees. It comes up for me because I'm the meeting owner, so I've been watching it, and it's come up for me. But it's obviously not. I've now got an option in my option menu that says show transcript. Don't know whether anybody else has got that.
I'm seeing the transcript, not in real time.
Oh, show
Right.
transcript. Yeah.
Well, Debbie Mac stopped it.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's
I'll
fine.
leave it alone.
We proved the point. So that could be quite handy sort of going forward. It's a new option that's rolling out on Teams. And I say if you haven't got subtitles and transcripts, it just means you haven't been updated yet in terms of the rollout of the software.
Andy, can I ask a question? Because I might be being a bit dumb again here, but I've lost all the videos of everybody, and I'm just looking at the presentation. Yeah. I can't find.
So if you click on the three dots.
Yeah.
And you click. Have you got an option at the bottom? Turn on incoming video.
It says turn off incoming video.
Right, so that's okay. So have you got focus?
Yes.
Ticked?
Yes.
Untick that.
There you all are.
Well, we're all here. We're all here before anyway, but you just couldn't see us.
I just lost. I got you before, but then I must have done something, played around, and it disappeared. So
well, you turned focus on, which turns the video view off.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but now we're back. That's the main thing. Any other questions on that?
No.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
So we've really thoroughly gone through all of those options now. Okay. I think sometimes especially when you've only got one screen, switching between windows in Teams can be hard work. So I've still got my subtitles going. I must turn them off. They're getting on my nerves. There we go. It can be quite confusing to switch between screens when you want to do something within Teams. So my little tip here is if you go to the bottom of your screen where you've got all of your app selection, Excel, Word, and so on, and you click on the Teams logo. Sorry, yes. Do we click on it? Yeah, click on it, the Teams logo. You should hopefully see two windows coming up. One of which is the meeting window, which we're in now, and one which is the Teams app, which we'll be moving into shortly. So it should allow you very quickly to switch into the Teams app. You can do that now if you want, and then switch back to the meeting.
Andy, sorry, hold on. I can't turn subtitles off for a start. Where's that?
So if you go to three dots and turn off live captions about 3/4 of the way down.
Live captions, that's what it is. I couldn't find subtitles, and that's why. And now, where's this Teams icon then that we're supposed to?
Right at the bottom of your screen.
And pin to your bar at the bottom.
Yeah. Depends whether you're in full screen, Debbie.
Yeah, got it. Sorry.
You got it. It. So if you click on that, you should allow you to select the Teams app, which I think is the left-hand one from my point of view, or the meeting one, which I've got on the right hand side.
Yeah, same.
Same. Good. Okay. If you are a third option, sorry, so to identify where you are in my simple mind, you know you're in the Teams app if you can see a sidebar. So the main Teams app has a sidebar. Whereas you know you're in the meeting if you can leave it. If you've got that red button top right, you know you're in the meeting, and often you can see videos and stuff as well, but you know you're in the meeting. A third option is, let's say you are doing some work or typing a document up as you're listening to a meeting. Then if you minimize the meeting that you're in, i.e. press the minus button that is top right of this window, this meeting window, if you do a minus there, it'll just keep the video going for this meeting.
Oh, yes.
Just in a little window, and you can carry on doing stuff. And as people speak, you'll see them change within that video. So that's quite a nice little extra option. And to bring that back, you just click on it, I think. Do you? No, you don't, do you? You click back at the bottom. You've now got 3 windows, and you choose the one that's the main meeting. Any questions? Okay. Right, we're going to talk about now, if you wanted to, especially if you've got a large screen, having 2 windows on the go at once within that. And I give Sid acknowledgement again for this, because he taught me about this. I didn't know about this. So you're seeing a little animation there, which shows you how to do this if you've not done it before. So if you've got whatever window you've got, if you grab hold of the top of a window and pull it to the right hand side of the screen until it sort of pops, then it'll take up half the screen. You let go, and then you can choose which window you then want on the left hand side. You've then got 2 windows on the go. Again, might be quite handy if you've got a Teams meeting going, you want to be working on another document. Some people like this, some people don't. Any questions on that?
No, all good.
All good. All good. Thank you very much.
You can use your Windows icon as well and the arrows, and you can have 4 on one screen if you want.
You can indeed. Yeah. So you can, if you wanted to, whatever window you're in, you go Windows right and it sends it right. Windows left sends it left. And then up, and yeah, you can even have 4 windows on the screen at the same time if you really are adventurous. That's too much for me, personally. But I do use 2 quite a lot. Sid taught me that. I find it quite handy when I'm working on one document and I want information from another document. Okay, so now we're going to move out of the sort of meeting environment and we're going to start looking at the Teams app. So Teams itself is a collaboration app. What's an app? App is a piece of software. You can use it for text messaging, which is the chat bit, group communications and project work, which is the Teams bit, meetings, which is the calendar bit, phone calls, make direct phone calls to people, document storage, which is probably its least powerful feature, but it's super handy to click on that files icon because it always tells you the last documents you've been working on anywhere in 365. So if you want a quick access to a document you were working on 2 days ago, you can quickly find it by clicking on that files icon in Teams, faster than sort of opening Word and then finding the folder and so on, because often you're just working on the same sort of files, aren't you? And then you can add other apps into Teams. So hands up, who's added any other apps into their Teams? Like
I
Planner.
just added Polly, but I didn't mean to.
Okay, well, you can unadd it as well. You can remove it. Angela's put her hands up. So you've added, what have you added, Angela, as an app? You're on mute.
Forms I've used before.
Forms, yeah. So you've used forms within Teams, yeah?
Yeah.
And so that comes up on your menu.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, good. So not many people have done that. So we'll maybe look at that. We'll do that as one of the later elements. Another little, the icon right at the very top is all of your activity on Teams. That is really, I've just called it a cool history feature. So allows you to click up there and see what you've done recently. I don't use it a lot, to be fair, but other people might. It just allows you to look back at what you've done. Okay. I think we're all fairly solid on this, but if we're not sure, then we can certainly go through it. So if we start with, sorry, let me just go back myself. So what I'm doing here now is I'm clicking on the call. I'm going into the Teams window. So if you've got your two windows up on your screen or two screens or whatever, if you click on the calls button there, we're now just exploring that. Okay, which should come up with a screen, something like that. So, a bit of an open question, really. Have you all got your calls screen set up as you want to? Are you happy with this?
I suppose it's knowing what you can set up in this, really. Okay.
Okay. So for me, what I want to do when I call people is I want the people that I call most regularly to be at the top of my screen. I want to be able to call everybody in the organisation, and I want to put those into sort of buckets of people, if you like, and then I can actually add people external to the organisation, although I haven't really used that much, to be perfectly honest. But to add a new contact to this speed dial section at the top, if you click on the three dots, you should be able to select the people that you are dealing with a lot to add to that. So let me just move myself to that screen so I know what I'm doing. Yeah, so if you click on the three dots, it comes up with an option, add a contact to this group. Either that or you can use the button that says add speed dial. And then if you click on that, you can search for that person and then add them. So that would be my top tip in terms of, you know, the people that you'd call a lot. Have a look, have at the top there on the speed dial. You can call people directly either via video or via phone, via that. So it sort of replaces your internal phone system. If anybody leaves voicemails, then you can also check your voicemails there. So I don't know whether we want to do this or not. I did this on the training with Thermo Fisher the other day. Do we want to make a call within this meeting and then come back to the meeting so that we can start seeing how you do that? Would that be a useful thing to do?
I'm okay because I've used it quite a lot. But
used quite a lot. Anybody want to do that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
We're all okay. Okay, cool. Good. Speak up if you do, because otherwise I'll move on to the next bit. So even if you're in a meeting, you can make a call to somebody, go and have a quick chat to them, and then come back into the meeting, and then the resume button appears at the top of this meeting for you to bring yourself back into it. It's always remembering to click the resume button, which I think probably we've all forgotten to do, and then you realise, I need to click resume to bring myself back to that. Also on your calling screen here, as you say, you can create groups. So as everyone, when they're on the calls part of the app, got new group top right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for example, I've got a group called development coaches, and I've put all development coaches within that group. So you can create a new group, and then you can add whatever you want into that group. We're not a massive organisation. You might decide you just want everybody in one, one sort of group. That's up to you. Any other questions or tips or tricks from anybody else on calls? We seem to use it quite a lot at the moment. That's good. Just a reminder on status. Again, this is from within the Teams app. So you can just leave Teams to sort out your status for you. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You never need to mess with this. But I occasionally will put the do not disturb status on in Teams. So the way where you access the status is you go into the Teams app. You click on the picture of you, top right, CQM Limited, and the picture of you, and you then say click on the where it says in a meeting. It will do for most of you at the moment. You click on that, and you can change that to a different status. You can put a time limit on it as well. So I use it for do not disturb because that means I don't get disturbed by Teams messages popping up and that sort of thing while I'm working on something focused for a couple of hours. Any questions on that? So some people use it, some don't. I'm not precious about it. You can, if you want to, a bit like on Facebook, you can sort of change your status message. So you could say I'm in Oxford at the moment, or I'm working from home, or I'm up a mountain, or whatever. But I don't think people tend to look at those very often. And again, just building off that, so that's the call element of it. Direct messaging, lots of this going on, I know. If you want to send a message to somebody, I can click on a person on the 3 dots, and I can send them a message. And even when you're within a meeting, you can do this. You can click in the Teams app and send somebody a quick message. I find this really handy if you're on the phone to a client, and I want to say to Jenny, "Oh, can you just suggest we do this?" So, or whoever it might be. That is quite handy to be able to send a direct message to somebody within whilst you're sort of in a meeting. Okay, any questions on messages? Okay, right, search bar at the top. This is your Teams app again. So you can find pretty much anything within this. So if you remember, you had a conversation about black belt. If you type in black belt there, then it'll bring up the conversations you had about black belt, and you can click on it. If I want to find Fran quickly, I can type Fran in there. It'll bring up Francesca Harrison. If I click on that, it'll take me to her chat, the chat that I've been having with Fran. So if you want to do things using the search bar quickly, that's a little tip again that you might want to use. What you might want to try now, which I only found the other day and I really like, is if you want to send somebody a quick message and not find them in calls and then that way, if you just type @ and then start typing their name, so you can all do this to each other, you know, @Bev or @Debbie, whatever, you'll see their name come up, and then you type a little message and send, and it just sends them a quick message.
Yeah.
I'm starting to use that quite a lot. Say again?
I like that, and I just found my meeting notes in search.
Wow, that's it. The whole session's okay then. Debbie's done 2 things.
Oh, you can do it in the search bar. Clever.
Like it.
The other thing you can do, a bit like Lotus 123 for all of you old gits like me that started with that, is you type the / and it comes up with lots of shortcut actions from that search bar. So you can do things quickly. So let's say you wanted to put yourself on do not disturb quickly. If you press the /, then one of the options is do not disturb. You click on that and it does that for you. And I think there's about 20 of them, isn't there, when you press the / button there.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
It's amazing. I like it.
Yeah, so they're quite handy. As I say, some people use them, some don't. But it just, to me, it speeds things up, especially when you're messaging people. I'm finding that's saving me a lot of time rather than 3 clicks. It's just, Fran, yeah, whatever. Why is Dawn laughing? I'm not messaging Fran all the time, am I, Fran?
No.
No.
No, Angela sent me a gift.
Oh, I see. Oh, just children, aren't you, really? Right. Any questions on that?
Nope, it's good.
So we're rattling on.
Right.
Scheduling meetings then. So when you want to set up a meeting from scratch, there's 2 places you can set up a meeting from. One is Outlook, and you make it into a Teams meeting, or you can do it within Teams. So there's 2 options there. If you do it within Outlook, when you go to in the meeting bar, you can click directly on Teams meeting there. You can either make it a Teams meeting, or you can just start from it being a Teams meeting straight away. As soon as you've clicked that in Outlook, you now get a new option which comes up, which is called settings. You get a little settings icon that comes up. And if you click, so once you've decided who you're inviting and when it is and what have you, what you should really do is always think, how do I want that meeting to work? And click on the settings icon. When you click that, these options come up. The most important one for me is who can bypass the lobby. So do you want people to be waiting to come in the meeting, or are you quite happy for it to be a free-for-all and people just come straight into the meeting, like the meeting we've just had today? You can also decide that you're the only one who's going to be able to present things, and you can also decide whether you want meeting chat or not. To be honest, I don't tend to mess with those. It tends to be the lobby mainly, but you can change them if you need to. If you set up a meeting within the Teams calendar, you get all the same sort of options. Sorry, I forgot. So there is an option within the Teams calendar called the Meet Now button. So you could decide, I just want a quick meeting now with Fiona, click the Meet Now button and say you type Fiona in and it'll start a meeting with Fiona. So that's another way of doing the same thing as before via the speed dial. But if you create a new meeting in Teams, what's the advantage of doing this? The advantage is twofold. Firstly, has anybody done this within Teams? Set up meetings within Teams?
Not with more than one person.
Not with more than one person. Have you noticed what extra option you get if anybody's done it? It automatically shows you their availability in green or red. So if you're trying to set a meeting up and you invite 4 people, it'll straight away look in their diaries and it'll show you who's not available as you're setting it up live within the Teams app. So that's quite a handy way to do it. The other thing is, which we'll come on to, is if you are running what you might call a meeting like this meeting, where it needs a little bit of preparation beforehand and you want to set up a whiteboard or something like that, you can do it at the same time then, and you can get all your whiteboards set up before the meeting. There we go. And if you click on the meetings option, when you set it up within Teams, there's a little meetings option, hot link. You click on that and it brings up that same window to allow you to decide whether people can bypass the lobby and so on. So we're not doing this live because I think it'd be chaos. Has anybody got any questions on setting meetings up? scheduling meetings.
No,
I know
I
one or
saw
two
the
people
day. It's
a bit
good.
unsure about
I'm
that.
fine.
Come on, Richard.
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm
You're
okay
fine.
with that.
Thanks for the feedback. Yeah. Good.
Hmm?
Okay. Once you've set your meeting up, this is in Teams, not Outlook. You get a lot more options. So rather than, so if you click on your meeting in the Teams calendar and then click join, sorry, click edit rather than join, it gives you lots of options about what you can do either prior to the meeting or whatever. So as we said, Debbie, that's one place you can always access your meeting notes because that comes up as one of the tabs when you do that.
Yeah, that looks really good.
You could, if you wanted to, for example, start the meeting notes before the meeting. You might put your objectives in the meeting notes, for example. So that's all pre-populated, and when you start your meeting for real, it's there, it's ready to go. You could add something to the chat before the meeting. You could put some, I meant to do this today, but I forgot, some sort of motivational saying or something prior to the meeting so that when people come in, they see that's the first thing they see. You could start a whiteboard and add some items so you've got some structure on the whiteboard prior to the meeting. You could add a file. So if you're working on a particular spreadsheet together just in the meeting, you could add it there. Or you could add what I'm calling another app, which is, I think, maybe Angela mentioned this before. So if you notice that when I did the poll with you at the start of the meeting, it was already there. I didn't have to set, well, I did have to set it up before the meeting, but I didn't have to scrabble about in the meeting setting it up. It was all ready to go. So if you were going to do a quick poll, you'd set it up there before the meeting. You could do that in Microsoft Forms. I quite like Polly, this other app, but it doesn't matter. You've got Microsoft Forms available. Yeah, so you can do a lot.
Do that in the meeting as well?
Just say again.
Can you do that in the meeting as well? Because you can't do that in Zoom. You have to always set them up before.
You can do it in the meeting as well.
Okay.
Yes. So you can start a whiteboard, for example, in the meeting, but it'll always start as blank when you do that because you've not got anything on it. Whereas if you wanted to pre-populate it, you'll have wanted to do it before, but you can do it within the meeting. Yeah. You could also start a survey in the meeting. So on my team, you're not seeing my view, but on my team's view at the moment, I have an option for Microsoft Forms. I don't think any of you will have that because it's my meeting. Is that right?
Yeah, I can see forms.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah,
and that's
the
maybe
icon.
because it's within the organisation. So you
Yeah.
you could put together a quick survey within the meeting as well. Yeah. Okay. Yep. But I think it's good practice to have done it beforehand, Fran, in general, because then you're not panicking.
Yeah, you're ready for it then. Yeah.
More you can prep, the better. Okay. Anything on setting up of meetings? Sounds like a few people have learned something new there in terms of how to do that. Yeah. So we're going to go on to advanced meeting controls now. First thing I'm going to cover is sharing. So I am hoping that you've all got the new update so that when you click your sharing button, which is the little up arrow next to the leave button, that you get that coming up on your screen now rather than the old type. And if you haven't got this version, it's coming. It'll be the same as this very soon for you. They're just rolling it out at the moment. So isn't it blooming confusing sharing stuff on Teams? I find it's, or has been in the past. There's so many different options. It's like, what do they all mean? So first thing you need to know about is this little selection switch, top right, which says include computer sound next to it. So if you've got a video that you're looking to play from YouTube or within a presentation, you must select that. Otherwise, people won't be able to hear it at the other end.
I forget that every single time.
Don't we all? The main thing is now is just remembering where to get to it. And I think it's a bit easier with this new sharing system. But yeah, you always forget to turn it on.
It's the only way. So let's say you share your screen, you forgot to, because of course you have. Do you have to unselect it and reselect it again to put the sound on?
I don't think so. I think you can turn it on now after you've started sharing.
Can you?
Although I could be wrong.
I need to know that as well.
Yes.
I could be wrong. So it might be that you have to reload your PowerPoint and then reshare it.
That's what I've been doing. I don't know if that's right though.
I think with the new update, you should be okay. You can just turn it on. I think I did it the other day, but I can't hand on heart say 100%. So yeah, that will be better if you can, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it looks like you can actually.
Yeah.
I had to use it recently for 2 different files, and I just made sure that was turned on at the beginning, and then it was all right for whichever file I play. It's like,
really, when do you not want it on?
I know, it's silly really. It should just be on.
yeah.
I am just going to follow that up and just because if I can change in the background via the Teams admin that's always on, that would be a really real benefit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll have a look at that, see if it's in the options on the Teams admin console. So 4 different options of stuff we can share. Firstly, we can share a screen. This is the easiest thing to do. You just share your screen. Because the benefit of that is as you move from Excel to Word or PowerPoint, people can just see whatever you're sharing. The big disadvantage, of course, is that if you click on your emails by accident and there's a confidential email in there about somebody or whatever, then you shouldn't really have shared that. So even though it's easy, I don't like doing it. And I would suggest you shouldn't do this as a default. The second option is sharing a particular window. So let's say you wanted to share Excel. Just share that Excel window that you're working on, and the person at the other end will just see that. They'll not see anything else on your desktop. So much safer, but of course it's a bit clunky because as soon as then you say, well, I'm looking at this Word document, you always forget to change it, and then you have to change it to the Word document so they can see it at the other end. Whiteboard, so that is for collaboration, so you can start a whiteboard and you can start adding things together and brainstorming within a meeting. And then if you're not using this, start using it tomorrow. Not tomorrow because it's Saturday. Start using it Tuesday. If you are sharing a PowerPoint presentation, always use PowerPoint Live. Go on, big intake of breath.
Do you find that it could use up more bandwidth? So if you've got like a poor internet connection, then that might be bad for that. I know Jenny had issues with this the other day, and I know that was on live. I was wondering if that might have been the cause of the problem.
Yeah, so what PowerPoint Live does is it uploads your whole of your PowerPoint presentation into the Teams server. So if you've got lots of videos and stuff within there, it'll take a long time to get it going at the start of the meeting.
Yeah.
So you're quite right, Angela, that is a disadvantage of it. But as far as you can, you should use it because it gives you a much better view when you're presenting. Yeah.
Of course. It'll load it into your window rather than being separate.
It'll load it into your window. So let me show you on the next screen. So this is the view I'm getting as I'm presenting at the moment. So you see your current slide and your notes. So if you've got meeting, notes to explain what a slide's about, you can see that. You can see all the next slides coming up, so you can see what's coming next. You can even select your slides, the little icon that's next to the forward and backward thingy underneath the main slide, allows you to select a slide. So if you want to jump to slide 44, you can do.
Right.
Really quickly. And you see the attendees at the bottom. Whereas if you're sharing via the other options, all of that stuff disappears and you can't, you know, so you get a lot on one screen. So I'd always say use PowerPoint Live if you're not doing, just with that caveat that you said, Angela, that if you're struggling to upload it, then you're going to have to abandon that and just share your screen or share a window, whatever.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there we go. So, and if you have got a big presentation, if you're in the ops team and you've got a big presentation, then I guess you've got to sort of think, I've got to be on the call 10 minutes early to make sure that it's uploaded before I get started. So learners aren't waiting for you. The little icon next to stop presenting, which is like an eye, it's meant to be an eye. If you click on that, it stops people moving forward on the slide. So at the moment, I'm in control of what's going on here. If I unclick that, which is what I've just done, it now allows you to click through the slides forwards and backwards for this presentation. So I would allow you to look ahead if you were getting bored with what I was saying. So I know all this, so I carry on with the next slides. So there's pros and cons. You might want people to be able to go ahead, or you might want to be in control, like in a sales presentation, when you don't want them to go ahead. So I normally leave it like that. So that should have brought you back to the current slide that you're on.
And sorry, Andy, how do you get it onto this PowerPoint Live thing again?
Right. So obviously you can't do that because you're consuming the presentation currently. But as a presenter, you go to the share content.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom, it should be your bottom options.
Oh, PowerPoint Live. Yeah.
PowerPoint Live. It used to be called something different, but they call it PowerPoint Live now. So we're going to stick with that terminology because it makes sense. It uploads the presentation to the server and it's just better all round.
Yeah.
It's much less stressful, I have to say, than doing it the other way and trying to find which window you're on and where your presentation is and all that sort of malarkey. So, good. Still okay?
Yeah.
And how does that work? So you've got PowerPoint Live. How does that work then if you want to share a different window, like a website or something?
Yeah,
you just click between them.
Yeah, you have to just click the share button again and share the different window. Yeah. Which I think is okay. It's quite easy to do that.
Okay.
Just, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if when you're sharing the YouTube video or whatever, it does it in the same way.
Yes.
But it doesn't yet. It's
Right.
still a bit clunky from that point of view. Okay. Right, so the one that we skipped over was whiteboard. So you should know the limitations on using whiteboard with external people. It don't work. So if you try to share a whiteboard with people outside of CQM, they get some error message saying that they can't access it. Microsoft have been sorting this out for about 2 years, still not sorted, but apparently it's coming soon. So watch this space. But we can do it within this meeting since we're all within CQM. So I'm going to start a whiteboard now. I think we might have done this before, but you know, just for everybody's benefit.
I wish we could share it outside the organisation. It would be great, wouldn't it?
Mm.
I can give you a little tip as to how to do that.
Oh,
So
thanks.
I can give you 2 tips actually. So you should all now have access. Oh, there we go. Somebody's drawing already. Hello, hi, yes. It's time for you to be children again for the weekend.
Show off in there.
Fiona Carlisle's put a nice big post-it note in.
Sorry about that.
No, don't apologise. It's lovely. It's really nice. Thank you. Oh, we're even spinning it round now and stuff. Yeah. So you can see the benefit of using this internally within the organisation. It's quick to get going and you can start populating it. Do any of you in your window that you've got an option that says open in app top
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yes, I do.
So if you haven't, if you're trying to do this externally, oh, okay, don't know what's happening. Is somebody clicked that?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. That's probably what's just caused the update for me.
Mm.
So if you click that, you might have to install the app if you haven't got it installed already. But that allows you to work on a whiteboard, and what you'd have to then do is open it in the app and share that screen.
Okay.
That doesn't allow interactivity by the learners, for example. You would have to add to the whiteboard as you talk.
Oh, so there's not much point then.
Well, depends. I mean, if you want a quick whiteboard and you want to quickly, get people's comments, you could do that.
Okay.
But you could just as easily do it on a Word document or a
Or in
PowerPoint
chat.
slide. So I just thought I'd mention it. The other thing you can use is, has anybody got the option at the bottom of freehand by InVision?
No.
Right at the very bottom, when you click on share, you go right to the bottom of your sharing.
Excuse me.
Have you got freehand by InVision?
Yeah.
Right, that's much more powerful. I'm not going to go into that in this session. I'm very happy to help people with that separately, but freehand by InVision is brilliant. It's a bit like whiteboard, but it allows you to share it with people externally and collaborate, and also any sort of whiteboards you've created from that you can download from the freehand app and save them somewhere or send to learners. So as I say, I don't think I'm going to cover that now.
Okay.
So yeah, whiteboards, bit clunky. Right, so any other questions on whiteboard?
No.
Do you use whiteboards, Richard?
No, I've not used it before, but it seems straightforward. I've just been trying to download the app, but I can't remember the password.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, there's a minor barrier there. You've got your 365 password. Yeah. If you do use the freehand by InVision, that's completely free. So that it's good. It's very good. Breakout rooms. Obviously, Zoom have had these for ages, and the Zoom implementation of breakout rooms is brilliant compared to Teams, but Teams is catching up, I think, hopefully. So you won't have the icon at the top of your bar for breakout rooms, I don't think, which is a square with a little square within it, because you're not running the meeting. But whereas if you've organised the meeting, you will get that icon coming up as soon as there's 2 or more people in the meeting. When you click that icon, it gives you options on whether you want to create rooms automatically or manually. So as a facilitator, I can decide I just want 3 rooms or 4 rooms and automatically allocate people to those rooms, or I can just create 3 rooms manually and then drag people in manually and then set the room up. I can move people between rooms if they're causing problems. No, I don't mean that. If I just want them to do that from a facilitation point of view, I can give the rooms names if I want to, yellow, green, blue. I can make an announcement to the rooms as a facilitator saying, you've only got 5 minutes left, hurry up with your brainstorming. This one isn't true yet, but it's coming to set a time limit on rooms. So you can set the room so that it's only 10 minutes limit, and they'll automatically be pulled back into the main meeting after 10 minutes. It's not there yet, certainly on my options, but it's coming. So I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. So how many people are there? Somebody tell me how many people are in the meeting. By
10.
looking at, Hey,
10.
how did you work that out?
I went to participants and it says there's 10 in the meeting.
Brilliant. Exactly. That's exactly the right place to go. You went to participants and went to 10. So I think I'm going to create 4 breakout rooms just for the heck of it. So I'm going to start those 4 rooms. The thing with Teams is it is slow starting breakout rooms. So once I press the button and say start the breakout rooms, you'll gradually get pulled into the rooms. You might feel like you're the only person in there to start with, but then somebody will join you. You will have a friend, don't worry. I'll come to visit each of you very briefly, and I'll pull you back. We're just going to do like 5 minutes, and I'll pull you all back into the main room after 5 minutes. What I'm going to do while I'm doing this is I'm going to record what's happening from my experience, so that later we can look at that and you can see how you set up breakout rooms as a facilitator. So I'm going to start that now. Just a minute. Right. Okay, so I've got some participants assigned. I don't think you'll be able to see what room you're in yet. But I'm going to start the rooms. What I want you to do within your rooms is I want you to discuss what the top 3 tips you've learned up to now on this bite-sized course. So your top 3 things that you've learned, and agree what you're going to feed back to the main meeting. If you want to use a whiteboard within your sub-meeting, you can do. If you don't, I'm not too bothered today. So I'm just going to start the rooms now. You'll start disappearing. So I've clicked the button. I can see it spinning.
It is slow. I remember that. I did that.
Yeah. I think as soon as you warn people, you know, it's the first time they've done it, then they get used to it. You just leaving now? Bye-bye. So this is me running breakout rooms now as a facilitator. I can see on the right-hand side here that all of those rooms are open and people have gone into them. I can see who's in those rooms as well. And it tells me that all participants are assigned. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create, I can't create an announcement. So I've got a little recording bar up at the moment. I can't move it. So I normally would be able to create an announcement to the rooms. But what I will do is I'll just pop into the rooms and see each one of you. So I'm just going to, and the way I do that is I just click on the room. And right click and then press join room. It's taking a little bit of time. So is everyone back in the main room now?
Back in the room.
I pressed leave, Andy, and it just kicked me out the whole meeting.
It kicked you out the whole meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
what I was going to
as I've said before, it's not a perfect implementation. It's still a bit buggy. So you just have to watch out for that. And it seems like we lost Sylvia. Is she back now? Let's have a look. Yeah, so I don't know what's happened to Sylvia, whether she's just got internet problems and that was just coincidental with this or not. So I'm just going to stop recording now on the bit that I recorded.
I think Angela's gone, hasn't she, for a meeting rather than lost her?
Yes, no, fair point. Yeah, she did tell us about that. So I'm just going to ask people to just spend 5 minutes if you want to grab a coffee or have a quick comfort break, and then we'll resume in 5 minutes time.
Oh, I'll have a coffee, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bread time.
Listen.
All
Yeah,
right.
I've
And
got a meeting to go to now.
Fran, do you mind just
Yeah.
contacting Sylvia and just seeing what's gone off there? Obviously, she can just rejoin the main meeting, but she might have had internet problems or something. Yeah, cool.
Oh, Angela's back, actually.
Angela's back, but we can't hear
It
her.
completely froze.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had to switch it all off.
We were just saying, Angela, that it's not a perfect implementation, and I've had one or two buggy things happen. Sometimes people get lost, and I think you just have to say to them beforehand, just rejoin the main meeting if you've got lost. I'm sure they're trying to improve it, but it's not as good as Zoom from that point of view. Is it, Fran? Fran will have experience on this.
I'm on mute. Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, it's
It tends to work really well, doesn't it, Zoom, or does it not?
Yes, it does. Obviously, sometimes we have connections about people going into the rooms, but it's a lot easier to find out where you are and bring people back, put people in.
Yeah. All right then, so 5-minute break then. So it'll be past now. I've been waffling away. So if we're back before past, then we'll resume for the last half hour.
Right. And I won't rejoin on that then, Andy, and I'll look at the recording.
Yeah, and if everybody can remind me to start recording again when I resume, because I'm just going to stop it now so that we. Okay. Right. So what you're now seeing, a bit bizarre this, but you are seeing a recording of what just happened for me on breakout rooms as the presenter. So you can see how it was for me and how you handle breakout rooms. So I'm going to play that now. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the sound because I've turned the sound on, but let me know if you can't.
No sound yet.
Can't hear the sound.
Can you not hear the sound?
No.
No.
Oh, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Is it because it's too low down there?
Oh, dog.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my dog. Apologies.
Romeo.
Right, I'm going to try again now. So I've clicked the button.
Yeah.
I can see it spinning. Can you hear me? Yeah. I think as soon as you warn people, it's the first time they've done it, then they get used to it. You just leaving now? Bye-bye. So this is me running breakout rooms now as a facilitator. I can see on the right-hand side here that all of those rooms are open and people have gone into them. I can see who's in those rooms as well. And it tells me that all participants are assigned. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I can't create an announcement. So I've got a little recording bar up at the moment. I can't move it. So I normally would be able to create an announcement to the rooms. Well, what I will do is I'll just pop into the rooms and see each one of you. So I'm just going to, and the way I do that is I just click on the room. And right click and then press join room. Simple. Oh, hi guys. I just thought I'd see how you were getting on. Well, okay then. I'll see you later. So I'm just going to fast forward through this bit now where I went to see each of your rooms. It's a bit boring. So it starts closing the rooms. Again, it takes a little bit of time to do that. And hopefully soon we should be seeing people appearing back in the main room. It's taking a little bit of time. So is everyone back in the main room now? Yeah, it was me that didn't press resume. Okay, it's back to me live now. So everybody heard that, did they?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
At least that worked. So that was sort of my what happened to me as a facilitator as you were going into the breakout rooms. Hopefully that might be useful for you. So the frustrating thing for me was I had a little record bar over the top of the 3 dots, top right there where it says breakout rooms. If you click on that when you're a facilitator, you can make an announcement, and an announcement goes to each of the breakout rooms. But I just couldn't do it because I got a bar on top of it for that one. So hopefully, yeah, that's good. Any questions on breakout rooms? I'd absolutely recommend that you practice it internally before you use it on any external activity because of what we've just found. You know, it's a little bit clunky. Okay, so if no other questions, we're going to move on to setting up of a team and channels now. So we're moving out of meetings and into setup of teams and channels. A team is a group working on a common goal. We'd sort of define that as that if we're on a management course, and we should do if we're thinking about Microsoft Teams. You can think of it as a place to get stuff done. Teams can be private or public. So for CQM, you know, the public team we have is the CQM employees team because everybody can see that in the organisation, whereas the rest are all private teams that we have different memberships of. Then a channel is the focus within the team. We can think of this as a sub team or a different, you know, a group of smaller people working on something together. And again, channels can be defined as either standard, i.e. everybody in the main team can see every channel, or you can make them private so that only some can see it within the team. So again, I've got another video here now about how to set up a team from scratch. I think you might all need to just press the play button, bottom left, yourselves on that screen that you're seeing at the moment called Teams Training. I will start it myself, but I've got a feeling you've got to have to press that bottom left play button. Okay, everyone. Did you all hear the sound properly on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. I presume you would have shouted up if you didn't. It was just a bit confusing at my end. Something strange happened. That's fine. So once you've got your team set up, I did this session the other day with Thermo Fisher. I said, "Oh, how many teams are you in?" Some of them are in 50 teams, and I said, "You've not got a chance of even coping with that. You only want to be in 4 or 5 teams really at any one time and working on anything." So if you go to your Teams window, sorry, I'm ahead of myself here. So click on that, and it obviously brings up your Teams, as you know. In terms of organising that window, you can do a number of things. If you click just on the left-hand side of a team, you can show and hide channels there. So if you don't want to see the detail of all the channels, you can click on that and it sort of collapses the channels. If you click on the 3 dots on the right-hand side of any channel, you can decide that you want to pin that and put it at the top, i.e. you want to make it more important for you. You can also change notifications within that, what sort of messages you get. And similarly, if you've pinned it up at the top and you don't want it at the top anymore because it's less important to you, you can unpin it and that will bring it back down into the middle group of teams. You can hide a team. So I've got a couple of teams that are sort of fairly dormant, not posted on much anymore. I didn't want to delete them yet, but I didn't want them coming up in my teams list. So if you click on the 3 dots of the team, not the channel, the team, you can hide it and put it at the bottom, and that goes into hidden teams at the bottom of your list. You can also leave a team via that. So if you think, I don't need to be in this team anymore, nothing else to contribute, I want to leave this team, you can do that. And then similarly, if you've got something hidden at the bottom, you can always go into the bottom and click on the 3 dots there. And if you want to show that team again, it'll bring it back up into the middle. So that's sort of organisation of your teams. Any questions on that or any problems anybody's getting?
Andy, can I just raise something?
Yep.
You tagged me in a particular post within a particular meeting today, and I wasn't notified of that. There was no activity, no notification for me to know that you'd done that. And it's only diving in deeper into the teams that I've realised I've got an action. Should it not have pinged me somewhere?
Only if you've got it set up as within your options. So we'll come to that in a minute.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So within a channel, channels always look the same. You've got posts where you post information. I think we're all pretty au fait with this, so please stop me if you want me to stop on anything. We've got a files tab, so as soon as you attach a file to any chat, it automatically gets saved into the folder for that team. You can meet now. That meet now button again is even within a channel. So if you clicked on that, it would just start a meeting with the people that are allocated within that channel. So we've got like IQA channels now set up. So if you just wanted a quick meeting with that, you could click on that. And channel options allows you as the person in charge of that channel to sort of set up options for that team. This is where you can add and remove tabs at the top there. There's a little plus button, whichever channel you're in. You always get posts and files coming up, but you can add and remove tabs. So for example, if you wanted to put a Microsoft Forms poll within your channel, you could do, and that's where you would add it. Or perhaps you wanted to add a whiteboard into there so that you did some brainstorming just within that sort of sub team. You could add a whiteboard in there, So as a team owner, you can be flexible about what tabs you have appearing within there. Think of it as subfolders. Jenny was talking about tags there. I'm not going to go into this in much detail because, to be honest, I started using it and I've found it less useful. You can set up these tags within your team so that if you've got like a subgroup of people that you want to communicate with, you can do that just by putting @operations or @sales. I'm finding it less useful. I think it's probably for larger organisations. I'm not going to go into this in detail either, but if you're managing a team and you click on the 3 dots next to the team, you can do things like add a team picture. You can obviously add and edit members. You can decide guest permissions. So if you've invited somebody from an external organisation, so I've got a team for one of my cohorts, level 6 open cohort, and we can collaborate on files within that team. So you can set up what permissions, what they're allowed to do. You can do things like turn off stickers and memes, or manage these tags. Posts, as I say, we're all pretty au fait with posts. I would just reinforce that one that I've got in green on the slide, that for you to be able to post something that looks a bit nicer formatted, it's that left-hand button, and it gives you more formatting around bold and underline and that sort of thing. So I often use that when I want to create something a bit of a longer post within Teams. The other one maybe I'd draw your attention to is the one on the right, which is praise. We're probably using that less at the moment, but it is an option within Teams if you want to send somebody praise. As Jenny said, if you go @ Jenny, and it brings up Jenny Humphreys, and then you say @Jenny Humphreys, can you deal with this quickly, please? Then it will go directly to her, sort of as a message within Teams, but it does have to be in her notifications for her to be able to see that. I'll come to that in a minute. And then if somebody's already posted something, it's always much better to reply to their post than start a new post, so that you've got all of that information together. Something we haven't used a lot, but I've just added to one of the teams, is that you can, within the channel, if you click on the 3 dots, get an email address for that channel. It creates some horrendous email address, but you could then use that and give that to somebody and say, when you've got an update on this, send it to this email address. And then it comes in as a post into that team. So I've just done it, for example, for Ofsted, for one of our competitors. I've registered on the site so that as soon as their Ofsted report came up, it posted it in our Teams channel rather than us having to go and find it. You might think of other ways of using that. Newsletters from Pearson or something like that coming into the IQA channel, that sort of thing you could use that for. And one I've only just got into is connectors. So again, you can start, if you're updating something in another software package, you can have it automatically telling you within the Teams posts that something's been updated. The risk is you end up with so many posts, you get overwhelmed. But it's there. That's what connectors are when you go into those 3 dots and you're setting up your channels. Okay. I'm just thinking, as I've got 5 minutes left, I've got a meeting with BT at 1, so I do have to be in that meeting. So what I'm thinking is we're all probably reasonably okay with file management, and we'll just jump to the settings. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can always come back and help with files with people if they're not sure. Right, so you can set Teams up exactly how you want to in terms of the notifications that you get. So the place that you do that is you go top right on your Teams app, you click on your picture and you click on settings. There's a whole heap of settings you've got in there, but probably the most useful ones that you will want to set up are notifications. So you click on notifications, you can do all sorts of things. You can set up missed activity emails. I really don't want Teams emailing me when I miss something. I want to, you know, otherwise you get overwhelmed by emails. So I set that to off. Notification state, you can either have that as Windows or Teams. I prefer the Teams built-in notifications. This one here, show message preview. This is, you know, when these messages pop up bottom right that somebody sent you a message, there's a risk that something comes up like this. I can't believe he actually said that. And certainly if somebody's looking behind you, they're thinking, oh, that's a bit dodgy. Whereas if you click that across, it would just come up with certain person sent you a message, and it doesn't show what that message is. So it's better for private, from a privacy point of view. You can play a sound for incoming notifications. Again, I hate that side of things. And then teams and channels, you can either then decide you want all activity notified, just mentions and replies, or you want to do it customized. And I'm suggesting here customized would be the way to go. So within customized, you've then got a number of options. Banner means that it pops up on your desktop, and feed means it's just within your Teams app. I don't like lots of banners coming up on my desktop, but you might prefer that. You might want to see things as soon as they're coming in. So this was what Jenny was talking about, personal app mentions. So I only want that showing in the feed. You might prefer to have that in the banner. So as soon as you've got an app mention, it flashes up to you and you go and deal with it. Team mentions, if you're a member of a particular team, replies to conversations I started, replies to conversations I replied to, likes and reactions. I've got them all set as only showing the feed within the app, Teams app. You might want to try something different. And then also, you know, for shown and pinned channels here, it's saying, do I want it to notify me every time there's a new post? I don't, because I can look at the numbers within Teams. I can just check that twice a day like I do Outlook, and see what's happening there. And then channel mentions, notify me each time this channel is mentioned. That's the channel itself. That rarely happens anyway. And then, that's just, where am I going now? So I think you then go back to come back into the main, and then you further down the page on notifications, you can set up how you want chat to happen. Again, here within chat on the app mentions, I've actually got banner and feed. So I'd be interested to see what you've got there, Jenny, whether you've just got it in the feed and it's not coming up as a banner. Don't know. Replies, likes and reactions. On meetings, I quite like it to come up on the banner when a meeting starts. If I've forgotten, do occasionally forget meetings starting. And any meeting chat that comes in, I want that unmuted. I'm sorry I'm rattling through this. I've literally got 2 minutes left. The people there, say if somebody new joins the organisation. Sorry, this is if I wanted to monitor whether a certain person was coming online and offline, and it tells me. I really don't want to know that. That's Big Brother. But you could do that if you want, and you can add people to see when they're online and when they're not online on Teams. And then also, if somebody else has joined Teams, we've got a new joiner into Teams, I'd want to know. Again, I only want to show that in the feed. I don't want that popping up as yet another banner on my desktop. So I really rattled through that, and I think you've got to go into those settings. I've mentioned this before, and just work through them, Google them if you're unsure what they actually mean. Just literally put that bit of text in and Google it, and then you'll find a Microsoft site that'll explain what it actually means. But set it up for you. Set up your notifications for you. So, wow, that's 2 hours quick. Any quick questions? Has to be dead quick. Any questions, comments?
Thank you. It's really useful, really helpful.
Yeah, it was useful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. And if you want any more, the only bit I really missed out was the stuff on the file handling and where files live within Teams and SharePoint, and adding folders in from SharePoint. So I'm really happy to sort of help people with that, sort of independently on that. But yeah, just give me a shout if you've got any queries on that. I think a lot of the operations team are now using Teams a lot more now as well. So because they're doing that for delivery, they'll be able to help as well. But I think it's important we try and do it the best way we can. So thank you all for attending, and I will see you again this afternoon for the business update for those that are available.